in the pits. It looks like they're going 4 wide to 5 wide, but they're side by side. Connor is sideways, absolutely sideways at the last few corners. Oh, but he's up in the gravel and he spins. Rob has made a bit of a dive. It actually hits teammate Craig, and so they've all got stuck in the gravel. And Joe gets the switch back. That's fantastic racing. Look at that. Contact, but it's Robbins Racing. Joe McCall takes his first ever win just ahead of Connor. A fantastic race. He's going to take 6th, or is it? Oh, he just gets him. And is Darren going to take it? No, he doesn't. Mark Nichol takes the race. Josh is the Independence champion for Season 3. Craig Kellett is your Season 3 winner and champion. Here's your grid then for race 2. The MCR Storm VW Scirocco of Mike Comer is on the front row of the grid after his win in race 1 next to Harry Cook in the Team Redeem Mazda Atenza. Row 2 is Darren Parker in the second of the Team Redeem Mazda Atenzas next to Craig Kellett in the Ford Mustang for Elliott Racing. Row 3 is Tom Foster in the first of the KTTC Racing Random Against next to Gary Black in his MCR Storm VW Scirocco. Row 4 is Mike Kuipers in the VW Scirocco for K&M Fox Racing next to Kieran Thomas in the second of the KTTC Renault Megane. Row 5 is the Nissan GTR for Team Snap-on Joe McCall next to Rob Pellet in the Ford Mustang for Elliott Racing. Row 6, and at the back row of the grid we've got the HB Motorsports of Joe Burrows and Stephen Heath in their Hyundai Genesis, and of course both Lexus RCFs for Speedy Motorsports, Alex McCready and Daniel Stewart both don't start the race. Race 2 for Dragon Trail then. Mike Comer is on the front row of the grid next to Harry Cook, and the lights go green, away we go, and it's a great start for the Team Redeem Mazdas and a great start for Craig as well. And of course the front wheel drive of Mike Comer bogs down, so he doesn't quite get the start he needs. Craig has got another great start and into the lead already, so Craig is fantastic at starting here at Dragon Trail. So Craig leads, Harry is in second, Darren is in third as Mike is down in fourth. On board with Darren and Harry already looking very racy, trying to get past Craig into the tight right-hander here. So Mike Comer has been pushed down to 5th as Heafy is up to 4th position, so he finished near the back at the end of last race, so that's a fantastic start for Stephen Heath, but he goes slightly wide. Oh, he's a little unsettled, so he's struggling to keep that Hyundai in a straight line here. Also Joe Burrows is doing well, and whoa, that's Rob Pellet getting sideways in the gravel there. Further down, Mike Kuipers is just ahead of Kieran here. Gary down to 8th, Kieran 10th, sorry, Gary down to 10th and Tom down to 11th after finishing well in that first race. So Tom is struggling here in the second race with Joe McCall at the back. So, whoa, I think someone's hit the wall, and I think that might have been Darren. So I could hear the contact, but he's not ruined his race just yet after that. So Harry making a good dive, so it's basically continue off where we started in race 1 as Harry gets the lead back ahead of Craig. So it's pretty much the same as what we saw in race 1 so far. Harry looking strong here again, but Craig is going up on his outside, and the power of the Ford Mustang engine really good here in the straights. So Darren is there again to act as rear gunner to support Harry to see if he can get that first win. Team Redeem looking strong here again in the start, and the points haul, if they continue with this, is going to really push them into a really healthy lead come into round 5 at Bathurst. So on board with Joe Burrows, and Heathy's dropped down big time, so something's happened to Heathy, and it might have been Heathy who hit the wall. So Not entirely sure what happened to Heathy. He's dropped down, which is a real shame because he was looking strong there. But Joe Burrows still looking really good here, just behind Mike Comer. And behind Joe is Rob Pellet, who's looking strong in 6th after a really frustrating race in race 1. And look at the move from Rob, and he gets past Joe, and Joe's nearly going to lose 2 spaces here as he's got Mike Kuipers side by side with him as they go into the bus chicane. Who's going to be the one to take the position? Oh, they're going side by side. I thought one would lift off. Mike eventually lifts off as Joe eventually holds on to 6th position, just ahead of Mike then. So we go on board with Mike, and Rob is slow out of the exit of the chicane. I think he must have hit the wall somewhat maybe, or just slow on the exit. So Mike now looking to get on the inside of Joe Burrows, and he does. And there's Kieran now, who's looking really strong with Rob. So Joe Burrows is literally getting smothered by everyone else and potentially could be pushed down further down to potentially 8th. But Darren is dropped down to 4th, just ahead as well, as we can see here, as Mike Comer, and Craig is up there with Harry. So it's a 3-way fight for the lead of the race. On board we're here with Darren, and Darren's lost it. He's been pushed down to 5th now. So Mike Kuipers has pushed Darren down to 5th. So Darren is struggling here on his medium tyres. Of course, pretty much everyone here on their tyres, but the only one not to be is Mike Comer. So he's looking strong, and no wonder he's looking strong here, as everyone else on their tyre ballast. So up at the front then, Mike, yeah, as you can see, has got past Craig. So Craig is pushed down to 3rd, and Harry is looking strong here in 2nd, but Mike is looking even stronger in his VW Scirocco. Harry, of course, is not on any tyres at all, as he wasn't in the top 6 coming into this race. So Harry looking really, really strong here for a win in race 2. Early days though, as Mike Kuipers also looking really racy here in his Scirocco. So the Scirocco's are really, really showing their strengths here again in this 2nd race. Oh, Craig hit the wall nearly again there. On board with Craig as he's behind Mike. Up the inside. So everyone else follows on, is still fairly close. The pack is quite close together. We've got one struggling behind. I think that might be Joe McCall, who had a decent top 10 result with 9th in the last race. So some promising progression for Joe, but still not quite what he needs to get up even into the mid-pack to get some decent results. Of course, Joe isn't supported by his teammate Luke, as Luke has missed out on the another race here at Dragon Trail. So whether we see Luke back here again will remain to be seen. Hopefully he does return to support Joe in another race. Back up the lead then, so Mike Comer is leading. I did say that Harry was looking strong, but Mike was also looking really, really racy. And so back to square one here with it's Harry and Mike this time, and both of them looking fantastic here, with Mike Kuipers also going to be part of the equation. So Mike Kuipers could be threatening to take a win here, as he's taken his first win of the season at Interlagos, and he's actually on the inside of Harry. So Mike Kuipers is looking really, really strong here. The two go side by side as they enter into the chicane, but Mike holds off and slots in behind Harry. So MCR Storm in 1st, Team Redeem in 2nd, and K&N Fox Racing in 3rd. And of course it's Elliott Racing for 4th. Back to Team Redeem, it's Craig and Darren in 4th and 5th. So the two used to racing with each other, but more up for the lead, and now they're having to get used to these tyre ballasts, which, to be honest, are not as strong and as race ruining as we have with the hard tyres in season 3, as we reviewed the tyre strategy for this season, and it seems to be much better, as the top runners are pushed down to the mid-pack rather than being right at the back, uncompetitive. Further down, Kieran is racing here with Joe Burrows. So Joe is looking just a little bit stronger in this race. He was much further up, but it's a shame to see him drop down, but he's now under threat from Kieran and Rob, so Rob is holding on to this and looking strong here. Joe Burrows has made a mistake, he's off in the gravel, in the grass, and so he's going to be slow on the exit, and he does lose both spaces to Rob and Kieran, so Rob is up to 7th, Kieran up to 6th now. So Rob Pellet, no doubt, is really on fire, no doubt racing angry after the excursion he had with Alex McCready, who no doubt will be penalised for his actions in race 1. The thing with Alex is he has failed to appear for race 2 as he had some technical issues, so whether we see Alex back for race 3 and the begins will be seen later on. So the three of them go into the chicane then, and Rob shaves the wall, and the exit just gets it right. So Rob still looking pretty strong there in 7th, Joe down to 8th, and Tom fighting with Stephen Heath and Gary Black here. It's a three-way for these three. And again, this is unusual to see both Gary and Tom this far down, both of them on their tyres. So Gary saying that is known to struggle on his medium tyres, and but Tom, I think, is probably going to be disappointed to be down in 9th so far. And Heathy looking strong. Oh, a bit of contact there from Tom, but they continue on as they do, and of course Joe McCall is just about hanging on at the back here. Up the front then, and the lead has changed, so Mike Kuipers is leading, Mike Comer is 2nd, and Harry Cook is down to 3rd now. So Harry was leading and he's just not able to hang on in front of those VW Scirocco's, but it'll be a good points haul for Harry again, who is mid-table so far in the season. He needs to boost himself up into the top half, as of course Darren is leading this series, so he can support him, but a strong event so far for Harry. And you can see how much Harry has progressed in the last few seasons to a front running car after his first season in the Nissan was a mixed bag, but he, whoa, over the curbs, 2 wheels. You can see how much on edge and commitment Harry has to that Mazda in that chicane, and how much he wants that win. So what a pass from Harry. He pushes Mike Comer wide and he gets into 2nd position, so on board with Mike then as we watch Harry go over the line onto lap 7. Some great overtaking so far in this event here at Dragon Trail. It's a wide circuit, so plenty of room for car jostling and being side by side, sometimes 3 wide, so you can see why it's a firm favourite for the racing. So Harry's putting Mike under pressure, but Darren has got Kieran in front of him, so Kieran is doing well here in the KTTC Carrera Megane. So Kieran really struggled at Interlagos, and he did okay mid-pack for race 1 here, but showing his strengths now back up to where he should be in that Renault, and he's up to 4th, so looks like he wants to be hunting down that 3rd position in the podium. Rob Pellet really improving here, and the confidence boost, this must be great for Rob, up to 6th, and Rob has really shown some good starts, but has struggled to hold on and gets pushed down to pretty much 10th every race. So Rob could get a decent points haul here if he continues on, and he's actually looking to get past Darren, but Darren's going to defend hard. Of course Darren is on those mediums, don't forget, so has a disadvantage. Further down, Joe's on his own, and this race between Tom, Craig now, and Heathy is raging on. So Tom is under threat from Craig, so Craig must have had a mistake somewhere, and he's down to 9th position, so this is going to hurt Craig in the points, especially as he's got the likes of Tom, Heathy and Gary on him. On to lap 8 then. So this three-way tussle here is continuing on with Rob, Darren and Kieran. Well, Rob has got a good exit out of the first chicane, and Darren, so Darren's going to hold off. So, but he's on two wheels. Rob is right on the edge with that Mustang, up on two wheels, and the car was sideways, so on the limit with Rob Pellet in that Mustang. Now he's going to fight with Kieran to see if he can get up to 4th. So this is a fantastic race for Rob Pellet, and he is really going to help the points for Elliott Racing, as Craig is struggling down near the back in 10th. So Mike Comer, Harry Cook and Mike Kuiper still fighting for this race here up the front for the lead. So little battles here and there everywhere happening in this race, but it is super close here still at the front. Whether we'll see more cars join on for the podium will remain to be seen, but Harry has got a good exit, but he's not quite got it. Mike is just holding on, defending really hard here. Now Harry really shows strength, and the amount of overtakes he's had in that corner shows he is really quick around that last bend. So up to the start-finish straight as we go on to lap 9 then, and again the laps are counting down really quick here. So into the first chicane, left then a right, uphill. It's easy to get onto the curves, lift the car up and unsettle it, as we've seen a couple of times, but this season seems to be so much tighter with the racing etiquette and with the racing itself. It's just everyone has become so much more advanced around these circuits. Look at that. How close it is now between the two Mikes, Mike Comer and Mike Kuipers. And so Mike Kuipers is sandwiched between Harry and Mike, and really putting the pressure on. Mike Comer slightly wide, goes onto the curb, but Mike Kuipers has got an overlap on Harry here, but he's going to hold off potentially. I don't quite know. No, he doesn't. He gets the overtake. He's up on the curves on the inside. They're side by side as they go towards the bus chicane. So one of them's going to have to lift off. Mike Comer, he thinks about it, but Mike Kuipers holds off. He's very good at holding off here. He knows that going side by side through that chicane is not the best strategy. They are literally on edge, and Harry again up on two wheels, and so he's still leading into that corner. Look how much tighter Harry can take it as he continues to lead. Mike Comer has now got a slight overlap, and no, he's really pushing and looking for any opportunity to get past Mike Kuipers. Further down then, Kieran has gapped a little bit ahead of Rob and Darren as they come across the line, and then there's this four-way between Tom, Heathy, Craig and Gary is on the back of Craig. So Heathy is now in the lead of this pack. Tom has dropped down to 10th position as Craig is still holding on and is struggling to get past these guys and to build his... the lag, and lots of lag there by Gary. So something was going on there. Luckily he's continued on unaffected by it. So Tom has managed to get on the inside of Gary, holds off. That was Heathy, who was sideways, and so he drops off down to 10th position. We can have another look at that with Heathy going sideways, but he's going to drop off, and look, HB Motorsports struggling here again, unfortunately, as Joe Burrows has dropped off after having a really good start, and Joe McCaw even could put Joe Burrows under threat. So Joe Burrows, frustratingly, another poor result from him so far in this race. So the front three here still fighting really intensely, as Harry is going to make that move again. Yeah, he does. He gets him. So they must know that Harry is that strong around that corner. Then they need to anticipate it next time. to defend it. So side by side, Harry and Mike, as they go over the line again onto lap 11. So not many laps left as we go into the final parts of this race. Mike Comer takes a really wide line. He's going to try something different. He's on the inside, and look at that, and it's worked, but he goes wide on the exit, and he's slow on the exit as well. So three of them are really tight as they come out of the exit. Mike Comer leads this race. So Harry then on the back of Mike. Can Mike get a second win? Oh, there's contact, and Harry slows down, and Mike continues to lead. So Mike Kuiper slots into second. Harry's probably made that decision after the little bit of contact there. So the two Mikes back up into the lead of this race then. Mike Comer really confident after that win in Interlagos here, and is really up there with the front runners. And if these points boost is enough, will put him in the fight for the title if he continues to do performances like this. Oh, there's contact. It's bumper to bumper, as we said before. Let's watch Heathy then, as he goes through the fast right-hander, and then he just gets it wrong, hits the grass and the gravel. He does well to drift it around the corner. It's fantastic to look at. On board with Heathy then. Yeah, he just goes wide, look. So Mike just slots in again behind Mike. So they all go through, no mistakes. It's so hard to do it when you're that close to the car in front of you. On board with Harry. Is he going to make the move? He does. He gets it. The brakes are so strong on that Mazda. He is so confident in stopping the car. Mike has just gapped the two of them slightly to ease the pressure slightly. 2 laps left in this race, and again it's gone past super quick. So Kieran and Rob are now fighting for 4th and 5th. Can you believe it? Kieran's had a mixed bag of results this season. After showing some real strengths at Suzuka, he really struggled at Interlagos. So looking much better here at Dragon Trail, and he goes wide. Oh, great racing between the two of them. Kieran goes really wide. Oh no, Kieran's gone very wide. He's gone into the grass, made a massive mistake. So that's allowed Darren to get past ahead then. So Kieran slots in behind Darren into 6th position, and Tom, his teammate, is just behind, who has got Craig just behind him. So Tom has managed to get back ahead of Craig and progressed into 7th. And Gary's still behind, of course. Heathy made that mistake earlier, so Kieran now can he get back past Darren? A lot of work went into Kieran up to racing with Rob in 4th, but unfortunately it's just hurt him. So Rob has got a bit of air to breathe in 4th position, and he will be delighted to take 4th in this if he can continue. I don't think he's quite got enough to get up to the podium position, but he will be more than happy with a 4th, and hopefully set him up for race 3 to get an even better result. So the lead of this race is still in the hands of Mike Comer, but Harry is looking strong here again with Mike quite close behind. So we're down into the final lap, the final time into the tight but quick right-hander at the end here. Another tight right-hander. On board with Mike Kuipers. Down into the tight right-hander. Oh, look how close it is. And Harry's got the overlap. He's got it. I think he's got him into the chicane. Harry Cook leads this race on the final lap. They're going into the chicane together. Whoa! This is getting tight. It's getting a bit messy. Mike Kuipers, they're going 3 wide. How did they get through that chicane side by side? All 3 of them are 3 wide as they go down into the final bend. Who's it going to be that's going to take the win of this race? Mike Kuipers holds that early line, and Harry's just not got the space to get around that final bend, as he has been every lap. So Mike Kuipers leads. Mike Comer's down to 3rd. Harry's in 2nd, but Mike Kuipers, I think, is going to take the win. He does. Mike Kuipers takes the win. Harry is 2nd, just ahead of Mike Comer in 3rd. What a race, what a finish. But Rob Pellet, 4th position, fantastic for Rob. Kieran finishes in 5th, a good result for him. Darren in 6th, and he salvages the damage. And Tom and Craig are side by side. Tom just gets Craig. Look how close that was. Gary in 9th position on the medium tyres. So Gary trying to get as many points as possible there. Heathy gets a disappointing 10th. Joe Burrows and Joe McCall fighting out for the last position, but Joe Burrows gets it, and Mad Joe at the back. An epic finish to the race means Mike Kuipers gets his 2nd win of the season. Harry Cook gets another 2nd as Mike Comer finishes in the last podium position in 3rd. Rob gets a fantastic 4th with Kieran in 5th, Darren in 6th, Tom in 7th, Craig in 8th with Gary in 9th, Heathy in 10th, Joe Burrows in 11th with Joe McCall in 12th. Of course, Alex and Dan Stewart didn't start the race. Looking at the championship points then, Darren Parker still leads with 153, with Gary Black in 2nd still with 142. Craig is catching on 133. Mike Comer scoring really strong here then on 123, is catching up to the top 3, with Harry Cook also scoring strong on 120. Tom is in 6th still with 117, but Mike Kuipers also scoring really strong, goes up to 7th with 112. Kieran drops down to 8th, 106, with Mark Nichol not scoring, dropping down as well. Stephen Heath also in 10th position, doesn't score strong too. What this means for the teams then, Team Redeem continue to lead with 270, MCR Storm 10 points behind with 260, Cape Tech dropping off a little bit further with 221, but K&N Fox Racing on 206, obviously scoring with only 1 car. Elite Racing on 187 with HB Motorsports 150, Team Snap on 81 and Team Speedy on 32. Looking at the Rookie Cup then, Gary Black continues to lead with 191, but Harry Cook is closing in on 176 with Mike Comer on 143 and Rob Pellet on 128. So it's by no means over as we continue on with the season. Luke Knox and Alex McCready still on 76 and 73 with Daniel Stewart on 29.